Good evening, everyone. I'm Tavia Sumter, and I am here with you tonight on Tavy Talks. We have an amazing panel of women that is on tonight. I'm so excited. We're going to be discussing the contributions that women have had on society and an impact that we've had in this world. And this is a very, very, very liberating moment for us. Every March, we celebrate Women's History Month, and we talk about women and the marks that they've made in the world, their accomplishments throughout time. So I'm excited to jump into this tonight. I'm going to allow the women to introduce themselves, tell you a little about what they do, and we're just going to jump right into our live open discussion. I also wanted to start off by thanking you ladies for joining this panel tonight. You could have been anywhere doing anything, but you're here with me on Tavy Talk. So I'm so excited, and I thank you all for joining tonight. So if we can, we're going to go around. We're going to start off with Miss Michelle Beast, and she's at my top. We're going to work our way around. So if you want, Miss Michelle, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, good evening, everyone. And again, thanks, Tavia, for having me on your platform and Grayson. I'm Michelle Bolden Hammond. I'm going to say I'm a multi-talented level person who just love inspiring people. I'm a radio show host, but in my other realms, I'm a singer, author, and with my 9 to 5. Let me say that again, 9 to 5. I'm actually a mental health therapist. So mental health, social substance counselors, and all of that. So I've got a whole realm of talents, God-given talents. And I think that's what we have to do as women. We have to use those talents to sow into others, to bring other flowers up with us.
Sounds good. Could you ladies hear me? I think I went out for a little while. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Um, so unfortunately, I did not catch that, Miss Michelle B. But our viewers did. So we're going to move on to Dr. Jennifer Bryant. You could share a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. I'm affectionately known as the Fire Igniter Leader, and I give voices to corporate women, and I help them through professional development, professional leadership coaching, and mentorship. And I help them to accelerate to the next level in their careers. Like Michelle, I'm multi-talented, multi-gifted. I'm also an international best-selling author, as well as been a visionary for several international books. I also am a Fortune 100 executive. Um, where I focus on people, culture, diversity, inclusion, and belonging. So I also bring those talents in the marketplace as well.
Wow.
And I forgot to add, I also lead I also lead one of our largest business resources group with the Fortune 100 company, where I lead over 20,000 women. I co-lead.
Wow.
Wow, that's a lot. You wear many hats, Miss Bryant.
Yes, I do.
Very impressive. That is why it's important. We need to celebrate this. Um,
Yes,
Miss
celebrate.
Michelle S. Thomas, please spread some light on our viewers about what it is that you do.
Good evening, everybody. I am Dr. Michelle S. Thomas. I am affectionately known as your business surgeon. And just like these ladies, I have multiple businesses that I manage and own daily. I own a corporation where we do minority business coaching for small to large, up to corporation businesses to help them to streamline their operations and better improve their financial footprint. I am the proud founder and CEO of the Exceptional Woman Network, which is a network for women, especially women of color, to come in and not only network, but learn how to master each of the 5 to 7 stages of their business growth. There's a lot of times that we kind of drop everybody into the middle of the process, but at the Exceptional Woman Network, because our goal is to increase the number of women of color and women entrepreneurs that make it to maturity instead of having to change careers or change their passions and dreams within 2 to 5 years. So our goal is to get you into sustainability and maturity. I also am a best-selling international author. I am a global speaker. And so we own several other businesses. I'm a franchisee. And it's exciting for me to be on a show like this because not a lot of times do we get a chance to talk about the ability to multitask. And that's a skill set that women tend to downplay when we're thinking about our careers and when we're thinking about our businesses. We tend to think that the things that we do naturally is not a business venture. So we are here, these ladies are here to talk to you about how to take the passion from within and show and shine and turn it into the business dream that you want to have. So thank you, Ms. Tavia, for having me on here.
No problem. Thank you. Samantha Matthews did join us. I think she's here. Samantha, could you hear me? Okay. So she's not on at the moment, but we can keep going. Very impressive. I literally, I'm like, God, I need a new circle of women. I need people that I can look to for advice, support. And he answered my prayers. He definitely did. And just so you viewers can know, I don't know any of these women on this panel tonight personally. I reached out for support and they all just answered and had open arms. It was not too much questioning about it. I reached out and they all responded. And that's what it's all about, us coming together and supporting one another. We have to be able to put ourselves in position to be in place to help uplift another woman. Together we're powerhouses. Hey, Miss Samantha, how are you?
I think she said she couldn't hear. That's what she indicated. Can you hear us, Samantha?
Her mic is muted.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can unmute it. Could you hear us now, Samantha?
It's still muted.
Yeah, she have to unmute her mic.
Okay, for live audiences, we're going to take a moment to help our sister out. So Can you hear us, Samantha? I don't know if she can hear.
I don't think she
If you type in the chat, have her to go to her settings. She probably has a couple of mics and she needs to pick the mic that she's on right now. I only know that because I got about 3 mics and 5 attached to it. I'm just saying, in my life of Zooms and virtual conferences, listen, she has transferred between 15 different mics. So I understand the frustration. So
I tried unmuting her myself, but it's not allowing me to do it.
It won't do it because she's not on the right mic.
Yeah.
It's a real simple fix. But if she goes into her settings at the bottom of her page and click that, then it'll open up her audio and video. So she just needs to click that audio and find the mic that she's on.
So I guess we can move on and I'll continue to text and try to get her on to this live so we can keep it moving and keep it popping for our viewers. So I did ask you ladies, who are some of your most important figures in women's history? As we know, since the early 1900s, women have been making their mark on society for forever. We've earned our rights to vote, to now we have a Black woman serving in Supreme Court. That's major. That is what you call Woman on the Rise, which is what the title of this panel is. So just to talk a little about that woman, who would you look to as an important figure, or what time could you think of that demonstrates what we're discussing today, contributions that women have had on society?
Okay, I feel like I'm always talking. But so I have 2. I have one from our history, our ancestral history, which is Harriet Tubman. Not because of the Underground Railroad and all that. I dug a little deeper. I'm a researcher, so I dug a little deeper. And what profoundly impacted me was the fact that she only freed 70 slaves. And so in this day and time, this is why it's poignant. In this day and time, we are taught that we have to have thousands and thousands and thousands of followers before we leave an impact.
Ooh.
But this woman freed 70. And we have read about her. We have talked about her. We have enjoyed her contributions since she did it. So that number 70 stuck with me, where it's not about the quantity. It's about the quality, about what we are delivering. And for our young viewers, I want to stress about the importance of spending time in your own ecosystem and pouring into your own community, and not spending so much time trying to gather up numbers, but gather up a great solid community. And those folks will follow you and patronize you and support you throughout the growth and the building and the following and the down part of your career, because they know you. The second person that I love and I've always loved is Miss Kathy Hughes. Again, researcher, not because of Radio One and all that. It's about how she started. So she was left this failing radio station that she and her son slept in, so that she could build it up. And so you think about those moments. Put yourself in those moments, because we all have had that moments of, I can't do this. Like, there's no money, there's no talent, there's no one that is listening. But she knew at her heart that she was an entrepreneur. So she didn't take no as her final solution. She worked, she spoke. And during this time, women in radio and television, that wasn't popular. So, and as a Black woman, so she went through those obstacles and those barriers, but she understood her vision. And despite the no's, despite the money, despite the downtimes and the frustration, she stayed true to what her plan was, and look at what has happened for her now.
Wow.
You said a major thing, and for me, I like to call myself a purpose influencer, because I realize the impact that I have on people to help push them into their God divine purpose. And you said that she knew her vision. That's very important to understand and know your vision, because if you can't see where you're going, there's no way that you can apply the pressure to get to where you need to be. So that was definitely major. We do have Samantha Matthews back on. She is currently live. She can hear. So I want to give you some time to introduce yourself to our viewers, Samantha, if you don't mind.
Yes, I don't mind. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I am late, but I had a little bit of technical difficulty. In spite of the fact this is what I do mostly, is live streaming. Welcome. I'm so glad that you guys are. First, Tavia, thank you so much for having me join this amazing panelist. I feel like I shouldn't be here. I see Dr. Michelle, Dr. Jennifer, and Michelle, and I'm like, why are you even sitting here, hon? But I remember something a while back. A lady spoke over my life, and he said, it's time for you to sit at the table. And I feel like I am sitting at the table with some beautiful women tonight. And I am just going to take it in. I'll give you a little bit about me. I am not nowhere where you guys are, but I have some level of, how would I say it? I have gone through a lot, enough to have something to say. And when you have walked in some things and stepped through some things and been and dealt with some situations, God give you enough strength to be able to open your mouth and speak. So a little bit about me. I'm Jamaican by nationality, came into this country. I'm a young girl and decided to do what everybody else wanted to do, right? Make some changes, right? Become a person, become something, did nursing school, did all of the above. If it was something that had to be done, I did it. Okay, went to school, did everything that I could do. And of course, being from a different country, not everything is easy for you. There's some fights that you have to go through. Through it all, I pushed, persevered, persisted to do whatever it is that I wanted to do and became something. I'm a medical coder by profession, and I do a lot of inspirational pieces. I have a channel where I talk about how to motivate yourself, how to uplift yourself because of the struggles that I've been through. Nothing of the collaborate that you guys have, but something just enough to reach people at my level, people that are afraid to speak, afraid to open up and say, I've been through this and I can help this young lady or this man. I help in that nature. And I have a business. I heard Dr. Jennifer talking about the amount of people that she manages. I do have a small business. I may have to contact you later, but I've started a at-home business, and this is probably my 7th business I've started. And like I said, I'm a little persistent little girl, and I basically have a platform that helps other women as well to just stay motivated. And I've eventually ventured out into budgeting. So now I'm teaching people how to save, how to budget and do, manage your finances a little bit better. I'm coming out of 2 year out of a job after COVID, not being able to work for 2 years, being a medical coder was a lot for me to handle. But I decided to start business, and I did. And now I am pursuing that. It's growing, it's, doing its thing, but I'm still struggling in finding out what it is that God wants for me to do. But I know it has to do with me speaking my story and sharing the things that I've gone through, the obstacles I've faced, being a Black girl, being a woman, a minority, being someone that, is told no 100 times and still getting up and pushing your foot forward and doing it again. I've heard no so many times. I feel like when God tells you a no, it's for a reason. And I'm walking in that purpose right now. So that's just a little bit about me. And I hope as we get through the end of the night that we're able to, I can share a little bit more in some of the questions that Tavia has for us. All right.
That was beautiful, Samantha. Thank you so much. And you do have a lot to offer to this world, to this panel.
Yes.
So I just wanted to share that with you. Don't ever think that you're not doing enough, because honey, yes, you are. You're bringing a lot to the table, and I appreciate you coming on tonight.
Thanks for having me.
No problem.
And Tavia, if I may say to her, Samantha, I was just getting ready to jump in, but I said, I want to tell you that you're looking at a no. So the many challenges of no on a job, the many challenges of a no that you don't fit the part, yes. The many challenges because I'm too dark, but I'm here now to stay. All of those no's pushed me to my level where I'm at today. Yes. And it was with the grace of God that those no's, just put those no's, as my sis Jennifer Bryant says, ignite the fire. Those no's, let those no's ignite your fire, because you're going to see where you're standing and where you're going to. And that's just a word for you, because that's just how I got to where I am, because of the no's. You persisted, you keep persisting and keep doing what you're doing. And those no's will elevate you to the yes, what God wants you to be.
Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I think she's muted.
Yes, I said absolutely. So thinking about today, what are some of the obstacles that you feel that women are still facing in today's world? Even though we have overcome many, I do understand that there are challenges that we're faced with on a day-to-day basis. So if any of you can add into that, what would be some of the obstacles that you think that we're still facing in today's world?
I could say stigma, that a woman can't do the job. The stigma that a woman can't do the job. But they a lot of people in some of the we can say some of these elite things, they don't think that we still have that guidance behind us. They don't really want to give you the full reins of what it is, but stigma that a woman can't handle it. But how can she? I know for me, I know we get stressed sometimes, but we handle it. We cook, we clean, we the maid, we the counselors, we the all of that. But those stigmas that we just can't handle it in the role that we have, especially in what is a high tech of a leadership role.
That's interesting because we lead with love, we lead with structure, and we're compassionate about what we do. When we allow ourselves to be in a space where we can fully develop ourselves and give into this world what we're meant to give.
And can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And what I will say is that, and Michelle, kind of spoke to this point that men apply.
Oh no.
The connection got interrupted.
Yeah, and she looked like she was about to be on fire.
Wait. Well, until she pop back in, I will say, especially from my experience and what I do with coaching my clients, for women and women of color especially, unfortunately, we are still the least lended to. We are still the least exposed to all of the resources that are out there and that's available for us as women. We tend to get caught in the I'm trying to think of a nice way to say this, but we get kind of caught in the social posting of people who say that they target funding for women of color. But what I need everyone to understand is when you are applying for a minority loan that is designated for minority women, that every woman of every race is in that category. Whether you consider that woman a minority or not, every woman is in that category. And so traditionally the lending people are only going to lend to people who look like them. And until we get to the point that we are the lenders, we are the venture capitalists, we are the angel funders, then we're still going to continue to receive the least amount of funding. So that comes back to what I call the invisible chains of slavery, where we've been conditioned that we cannot work together. We've been conditioned that we have to keep all of our stuff secret because somebody else gonna steal it. Somebody else gonna steal it.
Come on now, Miss Thomas.
We're that silo by ourselves, and we struggle and we self-fund all of our businesses. But when the money runs out, then we're stuck. So again, my goal before I take my last breath, my goal is to initiate real change, not social, not just posting or whatever, like real changes, real platforms for not only us as women, but the next 5 generations of women to stand upon, that they don't have to continue to go through the struggles that we are experiencing trying to build our businesses. So to answer your question, funding and that resource, how to get to that legitimate funding, I think is what holds majority of us back. Statistics says that 50% of us close our doors within 24 months of starting our business because we've run out of money.
Yeah, I tend to I would agree with you on that. And Lovely Technology wants to be Lovely Technology tonight, right? But we're gonna keep it moving. I will share, because the point that I was trying to make earlier is the challenge that I see with women and women of color, and I interact with them daily, is our own mindsets and the barriers that sit in our minds because of stories that may have been told to us or narratives that may have been told to us that we aren't good enough, that we don't qualify. And our imposter syndrome shows up often. And we're constantly in this space of having to prove, and we're in this space of comparing. And what I do daily, like I was sharing earlier, is that I give women a voice and visibility of confidence. And to the point that Michelle was making earlier, when men apply for a job, they may only meet 60% of the qualifications. And women feel like we need to meet 100% of them. And, because we need to be perfect, everything has to be organized. And I don't know when it dawned on me, but I will say in this last year, I have been even more on a mission personally to say that I'm no longer proving myself to people. I am improving. I'm constantly in a space of improving, and I'm showing up with authenticity.
Right.
Authenticity
Right.
and transparency, because others who look like you need to relate to you. And if I can do it, you can do it too. And yes, I've gotten lots of no's over the years, and I continue to get the no's. But the thing is that was not meant for you at that time. You may think that you're ready for something, but that opportunity just wasn't at that time. And something better will come, and you'll have reflective thinking. In retrospectively, you'll say, I am so glad I did not get that piece. I am so glad. And so if you could see people, like historically, for me, my person was Michelle Obama for a multitude of reasons. And I think she shows up authentically. And The Light You Carry, the recent book that she did, really showed that and illustrate that. But there's this quote that I like of hers that says, you may not always have a comfortable life, and you will not always be able to solve all of the world's problems at once. But don't ever underestimate the importance you have, because history has shown us that courage can be contagious, and hope can take on a life of its own. And so my point, what I got out of that is you have to focus on one thing at a time. And I know as women, we are great multitaskers, but I'm saying get real good at something and think about what, and Dr. Michelle could probably resonate with this. Think about what your customers or clients are asking you for the most, right? And continue serving in those capacities with authenticity. So I'll stop right there.
You had some very, very great points, Dr. Jennifer Bryant. And that leads to one of the questions that I was going to ask. What is the importance?
Huh? I want to add a little bit to what
go ahead.
Dr. Michelle and Dr. Jennifer said, because I find that is one of the biggest things. Dr. Michelle did mention about comparing or feeling like you have to compete with your fellow, friends or family members. I think that's one of the biggest thing that we struggle with as women, especially minority women. We are, and it brings us to a state of emotional distress, or feeling like we can't do it, and that's when we drop the ball, because we're trying to be like Mary, we're trying to be like Jennifer or Michelle, and we're doing that, and then we're not able to keep that up. And I think that's one of the biggest thing, where we need that good support. We need the women that have done it before, that walk through those doors already, close those doors, and it's going through more. We need that support to always keep us going. And then if they're more concerned about keep rising and not looking for the small people that's coming up, that's when we find all these businesses starting and falling apart, because we don't stay consistent with our own. A young sister may want to do the same thing. One thing, just to say this story, when I started, I reached out to a few women that already had similar things, and it was hard for them to give me a step by step. It was very hard. It was more of go there and go there and go there and go there. And I was like, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. I am not trying to compete or steal what you have, but I have a vision too. And you are somebody that walked that shoes. So I'm asking for assistance. And I think if we get back to remembering that it's not just about you. What you have to say may be different. It may not resonate with me, But maybe what I say, what somebody else say may just hit me. And I think we need to get to that place. And that's one of the reasons why at first I was scared to speak. But when I started to speak, I realized that some people get it differently when different people say it. And if we get to that place to understand that everybody's not hearing the same, even if you use the same words, it's going to sound different to everybody. And I think that's the biggest downfall in the minority women, the color women, that we don't help our sisters. We look at it, oh, I could do better. Or we say, yeah, she did that because this one did that. And then we get into that emotional distress and that, okay, nobody likes it, so I'm not going to do it anymore. And I think if we have that mentorship, that good mentorship, she just talked about Michelle Obama. And I feel like we need to learn how to look at the people that are doing it and figure out how we can help the little ones and bring them up to be at our levels. And I think that would be a good midpoint to start in order for this thing to be that fifth generation, like Dr. Michelle said, to continue to go on. That's my little.
Nice. Yeah, very nice, Samantha. Very, very great points that you had. And that's always a downfall. Looking next door and wondering what the person doing down the street or around the corner, instead of focusing on you and developing yourself so you can achieve your goals. And it's important that we focus on one thing, and that's serving our purpose in this life. So let's talk about how important it is to mentor both teenagers and women. You're seeing that a lot nowadays, but I do feel like that we could do a little more. I see a lot of women mentoring, teenagers being mentored by women, but there's a flip side to it as well. I also feel like a lot of people that provide those services make it hard for people to get that true support that they need, rather it be financially. I would like to see more free programs and things like that in our communities that are uplifting and supporting young women and teenage girls without there being a hassle or a price tag attached to it. Can you ladies add to that? What do you think we can do to help support and uplift each other and mentor our young women, um, opposed to what you see going on now?
So I absolutely agree. First of all, let me just say that absolutely agree. I think it kind of goes back to what Samantha was saying, that we kind of get caught up in what we're doing, that we forget where we're coming from and what we had to experience, and we don't translate it well. And so I think that a lot of people who have reached a certain level of success, they try to mentor the younger generation and our teenagers, but we do it kind of in the wrong way. You gotta shed yourself. Like you gotta for real, you gotta get rid of like your hang-ups and your thoughts, and you gotta meet them where they are. And so I remember last year I wanted to do at my global conference, I wanted to do a young ladies panel. And so I grabbed this group of ladies because between the age of 17 and 25 is usually the highest suicide rate because amongst this generation, because they're in this competitive environment, this impact of where I need to change my body, I'm not this. And so I gathered this group of ladies and we all jumped on the Zoom. And I had young ladies that were 16 up to the age of 25 on this one Zoom. And so I started talking to them about my vision and got them warmed up. And then I stopped talking. I just listened. And finally, one of the young ladies said, well, in my opinion, I think there were two separate groups. Like 16 to 19, they're still in that high school stage. They're trying to step out into life. But those of us who are over 20, we're already out there. So we have our own set of struggles. And that was eye-opening for me. And instead of me saying, well, no, this is how I want the platform to be, I broke it up into two groups and I allowed them to talk to me about what they wanted to discuss. And we talked about drugs, and we talked about sex. We talked about some of those things that, especially in our community, we don't openly discuss. We talk about it from a parental standpoint. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. And our kids just become tuned out from it. So in our growth, I think if we listen more than teach, if we make ourselves more accessible to the people who want it and allow them an opportunity to, because sometimes, like if I'm 16, like I don't have no business plan. I don't have no life. I just need somebody to listen for a minute. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just want to know that I'm not the odd one out, or that you understand that my body is changing and I can't talk to my mom or my aunties about it. So I need a woman that can help navigate some of those confusing things, opposed to me asking the next 16-year-old to get that advice. So I think that we need to shed our own hangups and step into their world, their life, especially this new technology group of kids. They don't think like anybody else. They're the first generation born into technology. So they actually think as processors. That's how they function. That's why most of them are not interested in the current education system, because it's too slow for them. It doesn't engage. So bring a group of kids into your office and set up a video game. You'll be amazed at how much they'll talk about, and you'll learn. Or meet them. Go sit in their space. So that's my, and that, first of all, let me just do a disclaimer. I have 7 kids. And I got like multiple generations, and I had to get out of my comfort zone. And each phase of my kids taught me how to be a better listener.
That's what it's about, creating the space.
Yes.
Creating the space. That's how you have impact, whether it be on your job, whether it be in your community, whether it be in your house. You have to create that space for people, give them an opportunity to flourish. Anyone else wanted to add to that?
I will say that, sort of echoing what Dr. Michelle said, I want to add the importance of breaking generational behaviors, traditions, culture, and curses. And I don't know about you all, and I'm pretty sure you probably can identify, when I was growing up, children were what? They
were seen, not heard.
Seen,
Yes.
not heard. And so you weren't able to articulate or voice your concerns, or the fact of stop that crying. So you couldn't really fully express your emotions. And so what I decided to do with my 2 daughters was I was going to change that mindset and create that atmosphere and environment where I've said, I'm going to respect you as humans. I want to know what's going on with you, and I'll listen. Even when it was time, like when they wanted to give me feedback, hard to hear, but I listened. And I shared that we all make mistakes. We all fail. So I have gone into high schools. They invite me in on career days, right? And I do silly stuff to relate to them. And I'm always, throughout the years, have mentored younger generations to help them along the way, and letting them know that their conversations are safe. So creating a safe environment for them to be open without judgment. And also sharing, as Samantha says, there's some stories that you need to share and open up. with my children, I have shared, the sexual assault, domestic abuse. I've shared all of that for them to know what to watch out for, what to look for, and to be transparent. Because if we don't teach them, if we don't teach these young people, they're going to learn from the streets. And it's going to be a whole different outcome.
Yes.
Oh, man.
That's
That's true.
That's true. That is
They
true.
are our future.
Absolutely.
They are our future. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. Anyone else wanted to add to that? The importance of mentoring and uplifting and supporting young women and teenagers today.
So Tavia, for me, I do that I've been doing it. Like I say, this is the place. And when you say safe space, this is why I do the retreat that I do. To warm your heart, warm your mind, and warm your soul. And I do have a youth involved in that, even if I have them to do the bags and get them to know, and they ask me questions. And then I also volunteer with one group, a sophisticated ladies group. So that's one of the big babies, and then they always ask me, well, Ms. Hammond, when we come and help you and do that? Because I want them to be these ladies of excellence. I want them to be these young entrepreneurs. And when they have questions, because again, sometimes they can't even go to mom because mom got a lot going on, or mom just totally don't want to talk about it. So I want to make sure that they have those safe spaces that they can come and they can rely and have that trust with me.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'm gonna be the only one. I'm gonna ask this. Am I the only one that feels like that once you reach a certain level as a reality star or pop star or whatever, that every once in a while you should come out of your persona and really, really tell these young ladies who are following you, because you have them captive. Like they are a captive audience. So step out of that every once in a while and talk about the realities of being in the industry, the reality of what filming a reality show looks like, the good, the bad, the pitfalls, so that they can take their emulation and place it in more of a realistic understanding of what it really takes. So, and I know I get myself in trouble with that, but I really feel like that once you gain so much of a platform, like every once in a while, step out of that, because the audience is listening to everything that you do and say. So step out of that as a woman and tell them.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
I was just sharing with my husband today. I said, I wonder if celebrities even know who they are, because they're busy being someone else. They're so busy performing. They're so busy being on all the time that do they really know who they are? So I get what you're saying, about them sharing, but do they know who they are?
That's good. That's good.
That's very good. That's why so many of them struggle. They struggle mentally. They struggle with substances.
Yes.
It's like they're using something to get away from that world and that perception that they've created for everyone else to see.
Because it's that pressure to always be a certain way, to look a certain way. So that's why, and I'll share this with Samantha and Michelle already know. When I go on social media, there are times in the morning time, I just put the camera on while I'm walking. I'm not one who wears a lot of makeup anyway, so I may throw on a little lip gloss and call it the day. But when it's time to take my pictures, of course I'm going, glam out. But on a normal day, you see me, this is what you get.
Right.
That's being true to yourself, Miss Bryant.
Yes.
Look, I am not a social media person, and my team has forced me to get on social media. So I decided I was going to do it on my own one day at the mailbox and recorded it on Instagram live and couldn't figure out how to turn it off. So you hear me in the video. I popped right back in the video and was like, this is why you don't let senior citizens be over here trying to operate stuff that we ain't been trained on. So this motivational video that I just recorded is now going to turn into a comedy show. This will be the part that y'all going to go ahead and meme and share. But that's okay, because I'm going to figure out how to hang up this while I'm talking now. Oh, there's the X right there. Let me hit this and see what happens. Or not, I might be back. But, you know, my crowd was like, yeah, we love that. The fact that you're just true to who you are, what you do. I mean, I don't come to work in 4-inch heels and eyelashes. Y'all don't even know what it takes to put some eyelashes on. Eyelids and stuff. So, but that's just me. That's who I am. So when you get onto my channel and you get a chance to meet me, you just gonna meet me. I drive most of my team crazy, but I'm like I'm like Dr. Jennifer. If I post some like them pictures that y'all be seeing, that's cute. And she don't know I did every day.
Oh my God.
I agree.
That was a whole squad.
That's the whole squad, whole team.
That's being true to yourself. Oh my God. And that's what make, you know, the success, that's what makes you relatable.
Right.
You know.
I had a comment from one of my viewers the other day, and they said, I like your channel because you're real. You just sound like I can understand you. Mm-hmm. You know, like I sometimes I feel like I talk and I'm like, ooh, like don't listen. But she's like, Sam, I like watching you, listen to you because you sound like me. You sound real. Mm-hmm. You don't sound like you've had it written down and you just reading because somebody put it together for you. Sound like you. And I think that's the importance of being on social media, being yourself, not trying to be somebody else. You know, talk the way how you would normally talk.
Yes.
You know, and that's what keeps you flat-footed. Okay, it keeps you to stay in that zone. You're not going to just get big and then be somebody different. You will stay where you are. And that's how we are able to bring on our other sisters, because now we didn't get rich and switch like they would say, right? We literally was just who we are from day one, and we're still that today. And that's just being real. Like I threw this on my face or threw something on my head and came and sat here, you know, because every day I work from home as a medical coder. I don't dress up, you know. I don't.
Okay, say that one more time. You said rich and switch. That's
get rich and switch. Yep, you get rich and switch.
We take notes, okay? Because don't judge on my next live. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna probably use it in the wrong way, but I'm gonna call you Samantha. So you can help me with that.
You know, don't get rich and switch and then forget the other people. You know, you gotta be able to still be who you are, and I think that's the most important thing. That is the most important thing, is to really just be you. You know, yes. I never thought that I would get a comment like that. I thought it would be like, Sam, what did you say? But she was like, no, you, like, I love listening to you because of that. Right. You mess up your words and you keep going. You know, that's real. That's what you call real people. That's what you call genuine people that you want to follow and listen to because they know they mess up. Dr. Michelle says she messed up and she was still trying to figure it out. That's it. You know, that is it. Showing that we're human. We're not no superwoman. We're not no anything else. We are human. And that's the most important thing, is to just be in that alone.
Yes.
And with that being said, we're still on the rise.
Yep.
We've overcome. We are courageous. We are strong. So many women now are independent entrepreneurs. Yes. Like I've seen over the past few years, so many women have stepped out and opened up businesses and really just branched out and started doing their own thing. And that's been amazing to see. And I feel like it's going to get better. The world is changing, and we are going to be the founders of this new world, this new society. So in conclusion to this awesome and amazing panel, we're coming up on our time. If any of you wanted to share anything, closing out, any advice that you would want to give to our viewers on tonight, just to uplift and encourage them, feel free to do so.
I will share that I always say, remember that you belong. Any room that you've been called to, you will add value. Don't ever question whether or not you should be there. You belong. Your voice matters, and you bring immense value. Don't compare. Know that you are unique. You have differentiators that makes you stand out. You are a superstar. You are making an impact. And always remember your big why as to why you're doing things. And the fact that you are an influencer, you do make impacts. So always remember that to show up as your authentic self and come with humility.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what, and that, Jennifer, you just segued right to what I was gonna say. Even if you feel as you have risen, always remain humble, and you'll see the heights that he will take you. And always put him first and remain humble. And even in the challenges, because I'm all about affirmations. There was one that God had led on me to print on a t-shirt. And when he gives me these ideas, that's entrepreneurship. I just don't
Mhm.
believe that he
Sure
gives
is.
you stuff to sit on it. Faith is an action word. And for those who like feeling like you don't have a little bit of confidence, so this is what you need to say to yourself. Oh my, confident is definite. So that's it. Wake up and say, oh my confidence is definite.
I love that.
I
I
love it.
love that, Mrs. Michelle.
Love
I
it.
love it.
Love
I
it.
love it.
Just to add to that, both of you ladies said, in the lines of what I was going to say. But I think one thing that we should always remember that we are born with a lot of strength. Women come with strength. We're gifted. We are birthed with that strength. It doesn't matter what challenges we face, whatever obstacles, whatever we go through, there's a deeper strength within us. And I think it comes out most when we're faced with challenges. And I think if we own in on that and understand that we have it already, it's already within us, right? And then we just need to manifest that in whatever it is that we're going through, whatever we're facing. Remember that we are women of strength, women of power. There's a reason why God made Eve for Adam, because Adam couldn't have done it alone, because he built us with something, that substance, to be able to withstand a lot of trials, tribulations, and things. And that's why he made us that way. So if we continue to always, whenever we're going through something, just remember that the strength of God is always within us, and we're able to do so much. Even if we don't think. I know I came on and I said, I don't feel like I belong. And Dr. Jennifer, thank you. Because I know that even though I didn't feel like I belong, I pushed myself, because there must be a reason. There must be a reason why I was called to this table. So that strength had to come from somewhere. That voice had to open up. I prayed. I said, God, open up my mouth, because you know who I am, right? You know me, and I don't know myself as much as you know me. So let me be who Samantha is. So just remember that we have strength and we can do all things. That's it.
And I want to piggyback off of that. I'm not as good as Michelle, but I do create acronyms. And so one of my acronyms that I tell everybody is to live legendary. And legendary stands for living every day, grateful for everything, not dwelling on anything, resolved on yesterday. So, ladies, don't beat yourself up. Don't dwell in a space where even if you feel like I could have done that better, I should have done that different. Listen, it's done. What's done is done. What you can do is challenge yourself to go into the next day grateful, pushing, do what you need to do to be your best and always be authentic to yourself. And listen, I want to invite you to, we have, and I'm trying to get Tavia on it, y'all.
I
Everybody,
am. I promise. Listen.
everybody encourage her. But coming
I
up next week,
Miss
we
Michelle.
have a virtual conference, and it is titled the I Matter Conference, dealing with exactly what we're talking about. It's important for you, before you pour into anyone else, that you understand how much you matter to yourself. because that is the only way that you are going to avoid and minimize other people shaking you off of your pathway.
Mm.
And so this beautiful sister down here, Samantha, listen, my team coached me and told me in the beginning when I first started, they said, stop apologizing for yourself. So this will be the last time that you will ever feel and say that you don't belong into a space, because you do. You are powerful, you are beautiful, you are amazing. And every room that you are gracing, receive something from it. So
Thank you.
And I love you, Samantha. I like you, like I told to the viewers earlier when we first hopped on. I don't before tonight. I just met most of you on this panel. There was no relationship prior to this, but I do remember reaching out to you, and you were so helpful. You helped me get my banner going for my YouTube channel, and you didn't ask for a dime. You offered to support me with starting up my website. I don't forget those things. You have so much to offer, and you do it with such grace, and you're so humble and
Thank
so
you.
supportive. And I truly care for you, and I'm thankful that we have crossed paths.
Yes.
You are a woman on the rise. We all are.
Yes.
So with that being said, we're going to conclude this amazing discussion. I want to thank everybody, all of our viewers, for tuning in. I want to thank you, Michelle B, Michelle Thomas, Samantha Matthews, and Miss Jennifer Bryan. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. And this is the relaunch of Tavy Talks. I got a little out last year, but this year stepping into this year, I wanted to transform and just step into what it is that I'm here to do. And that's to just shed light, to encourage and uplift people, the masses of people. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep that fire up under my feet, and I'm going to keep producing. And that's what it's all about as women. We have to keep giving into this world, and we're going to continue to see the results of our hard work and our dedication. So in celebration of Women's History Month, let's just keep doing what we've been doing, and that's just making history and setting our mark on this world. I want to thank you all again. Miss Michelle T, I promise you, I'm going to send you that email tonight. You're going to get that.
Send an email, send a chat, send an email.
The way you spoke tonight, you deserve a check. But I promise you, when I get it, you'll get one.
I love you. I love you. And I just
anyone else had anything to share
with tonight? And that's for anyone that's here, anyone that's on this panel. I want you to know that I am not that person to nickel and dime. I do have a large platform. I do have access to a lot of things. So if you ever need help, please reach out.
Hey, you have a new friend in me. You have a new friend in me. All of you do. So I want to thank everybody for sharing.
They reshare. I don't know if you did that. Share their platforms, their name of their platforms, or anything like that for us to connect.
No, we did not. Did we? We spoke a little about our platforms. But maybe I can possibly do something after this live. We can connect, and I'll probably maybe do a joint email CC or something like that with everyone on the thread, and we can just go from there.
Okay.
Hopefully, maybe in the future we can do this again.
Yes.
Okay. So good night, everyone. I'm sending much love and light to you.
Good night.
Have a wonderful, blessed night. To our viewers, thank you for tuning in. Be blessed.